It's your boy iDef, and I'm back with another review for you guys. And this time we got the SHFiguarts Romance Dawn Monkey D. Luffy. I've had him for a minute. I got him actually before Nami, but I was waiting for Nami to come, and then I decided to review Nami first, so yeah. Pretty similar box to all the other, like, One Piece figures they've done, but I like it. Nothing really different, but I like it. Not going to be anything on this side, as you probably know. But you can get a little peek in there. You know, the straw hat cut out. And then on the back, you know, just some more basic, you know, showing you some poses you can do, the face plates. Basic stuff. You know how the SHFiguarts boxes go if you get them, or if you've watched my reviews, you know. But let's go ahead and run through the old iDef system. Is the figure in good shape? Does the figure function as intended? Everything that's included with the figure, plus scaling, and then just my final thoughts. Usually a little pose at the end when I'm talking about it too, unless I forget. Alright, and here he is out of package, and is the figure in good shape? I've been looking him over. I can't find any paint issues or anything. I know this is a point for articulation, but I do just want to point these out. On the Radon Onigashima version of this figure, these don't seem to work properly. I don't know if they were made to intentionally, but you can take them out to increase articulation. It doesn't even really increase articulation realistically, but with this, they actually fold in. But I will say it can get a little annoying because they fold in really easy, so if you accidentally just tap them, you have to kind of pull them back out if you're worried about that looking, you know, weird on screen, whatever, but they do function. And they did seem to actually improve his knee articulation slightly, so when you take those off on the other one, it doesn't matter because the knee doesn't bend that far anyways. With these, well, I'll just show you. They're actually going to bend enough to force those in. So I'm going to call that a dub. His leg articulation or knee articulation still isn't great, but they definitely improved it. So that's really cool. I stand that. I'm happy about it, to be honest. Sorry, I got his articulation all wonky because I was messing around with him. But I will say, one of his hands I thought had a paint issue. I didn't even scrape it with my nail. I just kind of messed with it with my nail a little bit, and it was just like some sort of, maybe something from factory, whatever. Wasn't a paint issue. So everything looks good. I'll even tell you, I tried pulling off one of his arms to see how easy it would be to take it off. Tried to put it back on, and I thought the joint was ruined. I just hadn't put it in fully, which also led me to another kind of disappointing discovery. But anyways, does the figure function as intended? So he gets really good head articulation. He looks down really far. He looks up pretty good. I mean, better than Nami for sure. Gets a lot more expression to the side. Obviously, you can turn his head. The neck does have a proclivity to turn to the right with his head with mine. And it's not that big a deal to turn it back over, but it can get a little annoying. I do wish it didn't want to turn, honestly, but it's, again, not that big of a deal. But yeah, you get two different joints in there. So he has kind of it's not a drop down, it's like the opposite of a drop down, but it kind of has that thing going on. That doesn't really help you with shoulder articulation, but he does get a T-pose. But what those do help you with, though, hold on, for reaching across, like, it works good. It works good. It's a good system. And he does have bicep swivel, and these will kind of turn a little bit too, but it's there. Got a nice deep bend. And then kind of, you know, the standard with most imports, he's got the ball joint that you can move around and make it pivot whatever way you want. Very useful. Marvel Legends, I'm looking at you. And then try to do it without bending his legs. So with both parts of his, kind of his waist and his upper body, it's going to bend forward about that far, which is not bad at all. I guess it's like trying to get his leg straight to get a better portrayal of it. Yeah, it's a pretty good bend forward. I think it's better than the other one, but I could be wrong. And then surprisingly, I feel like the back actually lacks a little bit compared to the front. But still pretty good nonetheless. And then he gets really good side to side though. Like, phenomenal. And then you can twist up here and at the waist. You know. Just get his arms out of the way. So, usually we don't start with splits, but he does get a essentially perfect split. And no sort of drop down. But he does get like a for sure at least 90-degree crick or honestly, see, that's what I was talking about. These, they're very easy to bend in. And then you kind of got to finagle them back out. But he gets a slightly over 90-degree bend, which is great. That's more than enough in my opinion. And then there's not a swivel up here, but inside the leg swivels, these ball joints on mine, they're going to hold him for sure, but they are already a little bit loose, which is an issue I heard that happened with a lot of people's raid on Onigashima one. So, like, right out of the box, mine, they are not, it's not a problem. Like, they're not so loose that they're not going to hold them up or whatever, but they are out of box looser than I would have liked them to be. And then his ankle doesn't go too far back, but it does have a nice forward. And then they do pivot. And then one of my favorite details about the way they do their Luffys is the toe joint that's not connected to his foot where the sandal is when he bends his foot, so it comes out like that. It's really cool. I don't think I missed anything for articulation, unless there is a piece I missed and just don't notice that he has, but I think that's about it for that's about it for his articulation. Sorry, I can't talk. Yeah, I would say he definitely functions as intended. I would say there's some slight improvements over the raid on Onigashima version, so that's cool. I guess we'll get into everything that comes with the figure. So we'll start out with these first. I believe the raid on Onigashima version works like this too. But essentially, if you take this hairpiece off and his face off, you can remove the back part of his head and put on this one. You see how it's kind of bald and flat? And then he has another hairpiece to go on front. And that is so you can put on his straw hat. I kind of like how it's designed. It's almost like the top is a little more sun-faded almost. I think that's what they're going for. I'm not really sure. But there is almost like a two-tone to it. And then you can see little stitches from Buggy from like the first season, if you remember that. Let me check something real quick. Okay, so the raid on Onigashima straw hat, Luffy straw hat, it for sure does have the repairs, so just want to make sure. Didn't want to talk out my ass. So he comes with 4 faceplates, including the one that's already on him. He's got like this, you know, kind of, I don't know if it's like yelling, but he's like, you know, happy face. And then it's going to be important for one of his accessories. He's got this little faceplate with him eating a little piece of meat. These are painted well. Actually, let's go back to this one real quick. This is probably the only paint issue on anything I've seen so far. Barely noticeable, but if you see kind of where the gums are on his teeth, they're a little bit messy, but it's not really even worth mentioning, honestly. I don't care. Then you got a super pissed off Luffy, which that's good to have too. Oh, you know what? I guess I already showed it to you guys with the, when I was doing the Nami review, but there was a faceplate that comes with Nami that's for him and the raid on Onigashima version of this figure. So for hands, he comes with 4 sets, which those included the fists. But these are either kind of like, you could probably use them for relax, but they're going to be for grabbing, or like if he's doing a gum pistol, how he puts one of his arms on his bicep. That's what these will be for. Whoop. And then, so if you're doing like a gum bazooka, something like that, you have these. And then the last pair is not necessarily a matching pair. I don't know if they're going to do this with everyone from Romance Dawn, but he's got a pointing finger, which they did that with Nami. Hers is slightly different though. And then there's only one of these hands, but this is going to be for your last accessory, which, you know, if you already know a little bit about this figure, you probably know what it is. You got a meat stick. And the little bottom piece will come out, and you can stick that through the hand and then put that back on and then have him hold the meat. Pause. But, yeah, that's what that meat face will be for. But yeah, that's everything that's included with him. I guess we should go ahead and do some scaling. And here he is with the Romance Dawn Nami. And yeah, so this is kind of mentioning the video yesterday when I was doing scaling. I think I was just tripping. For some reason, I thought Nami was like the same height or maybe slightly taller than Luffy, but apparently not. Again, could still be wrong, and maybe SHFiguarts messed it up, but it looks fine to me. I could just be tripping. Here he is with himself, except from Braid on Onigashima, and as you can see, they're very similar body builds. You know, I'm gonna go ahead and say he probably does have a better ab crunch just looking at the design, but yeah, they're pretty similar though. There's not much changes, if really any. But yeah, I figured why not. Here he is with Raid on Onigashima Zoro, and I'm gonna say the scaling is pretty dope. Also, I obviously know he's not the right time period, but they look great together, in my opinion. And here he is with the Raid on Onigashima Sanji, and again, I think they scale very well together. Until the Romance Dawn Sanji drops, once you have like the Zoro and Nami, if you are trying to get most of the crew together, obviously, until they also drop Usopp, but I think he fits in. The only real difference is, compared to the pre-time skip, is that he kind of has like the little chin hair and his suit's a different color, but it's Sanji. He looks pretty similar. So yeah, overall, he's pretty dope. For $35, I don't think you're going to be disappointed. There are some things I do want to touch on real quickly though, and this could just be QC issues on mine, but his ankle pivot is a little bit flimsy. It wasn't that hard to get him to stay in this pose, but for stuff like this, you may actually even just need to get a stand once you've posed him a few more times, because it's probably just going to get looser, I would assume. But yeah, there's some things that improve over the other one. There's some things that are almost exactly the same as the other one. Either way, in my opinion, he goes hard. I'm also pretty sure the faceplates are going to be interchangeable. Another thing I did want to talk about, the hat stays on, but instead of like with the Raid on Onigashima one, it kind of clicks into place and lets you know it's there. This one just kind of holds with friction. And also, when switching out the heads and putting the other hairpiece on, it was a little bit difficult. And it may just be with this faceplate, I don't know. But I did have to kind of like mess with it to get it in there, but it wasn't too hard. It wasn't like difficult, but it was slightly annoying, let's say that. But overall, he did not disappoint. I'm glad to have him. I think I might like him more than the Raid on Onigashima one, just because it's more of the classic Luffy. Not to say that I necessarily grew up with One Piece, because I didn't start watching anime until like 2024, and I didn't start watching One Piece till 2024, so... Sorry, did I say I started watching anime in like 2020? Anyways, I don't know if I said 2024 as well, but anyways, he's dope. I would recommend him, especially if you're getting him for retail, but even like 40, 45, that's really going to be more up to you. I would say he still might be worth it at that price, but anything above 40, 45 wouldn't do it, personally, unless you gotta have him. Then again, if you know, the Gum Gum Effect set, I don't think is going to be compatible, at least with the arms for the Raid on Onigashima one. Like, the legs might work because they have the same leg system, but I don't think you can do it with the arms with them, which really sucks, but it is what it is. I'd recommend them. I hope this was informative and you guys enjoyed, and I think that's going to be it.